Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to have you all here. Assalamu alaikum, Ustad.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, Ustad?
Yeah, very good. Good to be here. Alhamdulillah. We've got lots and lots of people here. All 10 of us, mashallah. But 10 quality people, that's the most important thing. So
more important than quantity, Ustad. You should know.
It is. Listen, we want to see some of you put your camera, at least somebody other than Amal put their camera on. Mashallah, she's put her camera on. Those of you, please do put your camera on. Remember, parents, we are broadcasting live on Zoom via the YouTube. So this will be broadcast. If you're not comfortable with that, then no problem switching off your camera for today. But it's really great to have you all, and we're looking forward to you participating in this phenomenal Quran story time, which is a really brilliant session and one of the unique topics that we have, alhamdulillah. And we're going to get into that in a little while. But before we do that, we'd love you to just have a look at renaming yourself. So do have a look at that. We've got a slide here that we could probably show you how to do that. There's Adam, put his camera on. Good to see you, Adam. Thank you. And we're waiting for a few of our regulars. Let's see who else is not. Yeah, we got, where's Hannah? Hannah Khiyar, always here, mashallah. I think she just joined. So good on all of you. Thank you for joining. Please do change your name, put up there. So, yeah, welcome, Hannah. Good to see you. I was worried you weren't going to come, but there you go. You got there just in time, alhamdulillah. So do change your name and have a look at that, inshallah. We are, for those of you joining on YouTube, thank you for joining. Really appreciate you joining. And we will be broadcasting live, inshallah, on YouTube, but we'll do it as interactively as we can, inshallah. So we've got that, and we've got an announcement to make, which is that the Al-Noor festival is just 1 week away. The Al-Noor Family Festival, just a few days to go, inshallah, this weekend. And for everybody who comes to the Quran story time, then in a short while, I'm going to post up a message. Well, I could possibly do that now, and I could post it up again later on. So let me do that now, so you all have an opportunity to be able to register, because you can now register via Eventbrite and get a free ticket because you came on this program. So as long as you have attended this program, inshallah, then in the chat in a few minutes, I will post up a link where you can fill that in. And it will take you to a screen that you have an image that you have on your screen. And then you'll put the promo code, which is QST, which stands for Quran Storytime 2023. And you press apply, and that will make that cost go down to 0, and it will give you a free ticket. So it's amazing opportunity for you to get a free ticket to attend the Quran, but because you've attended the Quran Storytime, to come to the festival, which is this weekend. Got loads of rides. What's your favorite ride, Ustad?
It's got to be the bumper cars, Ustad. It always has.
Our favorite is the bumper cars. It's the only one that I will go on. I will not go on any of those crazy rides that you see people doing. It's just too scary.
Ustad, we could. Who knows what could happen to us if we go on those?
Yeah, we're prized commodities, right? We can't risk being, jeopardizing our well-being. Who will run the Quran story time in the future if that happens?
So if you come to Quran story time, you're going to get a free entrance ticket. Is that correct?
You're going to get a free entrance ticket. All you have to do is fill in that link, which I'm about to post in the group. I'm just waiting for a few other people to join, so everybody gets it. And you'll get a free entry as well, inshallah. And you'll get to see some amazing things, not just rides. We've got loads of stalls, loads of fun stalls, amazing stalls. We've got some phenomenal food stalls as well. Don't tell me about the prices of the rides. Have nothing to do with me, Ustad, honestly, but there you go. And we've got like a really cool event going on at some time during the festival. We've got like a pet store that is bringing in live parrots and turtles and live snake as well.
Oh, my God.
Live snake where you can come, you can pet it. If you want to wrap it around you, you can. Yeah, it's going to be so much fun, inshallah.
Oh my God, subhanAllah, you're going to have to be very brave. I think only the people who go on the roller coaster rides will be brave enough to put a snake around their neck. Because obviously it's not a poisonous snake, but that means it's a constrictor. It might tighten itself around your neck, and before you know it, you might be at that ambulance. Ustad, I've seen that ambulance there a few times. St. John's out.
They'll be there, but you've got nothing to worry about. We're all very careful. Don't scare them, Ustad.
No, I'm not. I'm only joking. You know, I'm only joking.
Yeah.
So
But
please,
look, I'm gonna put that in the chat now. And that's the link that everybody wants to go on to. Maybe you can do it straight after this call rather than now. And then you put the discount code QST 2023 in, and that will give you a free place into the Al-Noor festival this weekend, inshallah. So after this, I'll post it again later on, just before the end of the session, inshallah. But Ustad, we have a phenomenal session. There's a very unique topic, and not an obvious topic that we've got going on today, which is the King and the Boy story, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So we've got a Quran recitation to happen as well. But we'll start off with you, Bismillah, and then we'll take this session forward, inshallah. And we have people joining on Zoom. Those of you who've joined on Zoom, please let your friends and family know that they should join. So if you've got cousins and the likes or friends, then ask your mum or dad to text them, tell them to join us, inshallah. And they can just register and join us straight away, inshallah. As well as those on YouTube, alhamdulillah, we have a few people who have joined on YouTube as well. So thank you for joining on YouTube, inshallah. So Ustad, over to you. Jazakallah khair.
Okay, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, Salatu wassalam ala Rasulillah, Nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome all of you to Al-Noor Quran story time. And the story that we're going to focus on over the next 3 days is the story of the king, the boy and the king. The boy and the king. Now, it's really a unique story from many perspectives. But before we start, just a quick word. We've moved on to a registration system, which means that the Zoom link, which we were using before, is not going to work. You have to register and you get the Zoom link. There's various reasons we've done that. So if you've got friends and family, you know, normally they would be attending. It could be that they're a little bit mixed up with the new process. So please do send out the message to your friends and family to register. The registration link is on the Telegram group. It's there. So they literally just click on it, answer a couple of questions, and they'll go straight through to the link for this program. So inshallah, we don't want people to miss out on the first day. So the story is the story of the boy and the king. Now, it is a very famous story, even though it is not actually directly mentioned in the Quran in a lot of detail. In Surah Al-Buruj, there is a reference to the story of the boy and the king. And actually, in Surah Al-Buruj, what you have is the conclusion to the story. You don't even actually have the story itself. You have the conclusion and the outcome of the story. So, Ustad Akhtar, I think there's something to look into with the YouTube. So you might want to have a quick look at that. And whether the sessions are projecting on YouTube.
Yeah, they are. It's all fine on YouTube, alhamdulillah.
Oh, alhamdulillah. So this story, actually, the majority of the story is found in a hadith in Sahih Muslim, where the Prophet ﷺ described this story. And this story goes back to a long time before the Prophet ﷺ. We don't actually know exactly when it was and what king it was. There's a lot of speculation, a lot of discussion, what period in history it was, what king it was. But the Quran doesn't focus on those details because they're not the important details. The Quran focuses on the moral lessons from that story. Okay, so now before we launch into the story, my favorite bit is when we hear the recitation of one of our young reciters, one of our inspirational reciters. Now, today's reciter is a young sister called Sister Amal. Are you there, Amal?
Let me just bring Amal off mute. Accept the prompt, Amal, please.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's great to hear from you, Amal. I know this is your first time reciting on Quran story time, although your brother has recited before Jibreel, but now it's your turn to be on the limelight. So now you're going to recite Surah Al-Buruj for us. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So inshallah, bismillah, please start, and the PowerPoint will be running in the background, or children, you can follow with your own mushafs.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله.
I think we might have lost Amal.
I thought that was just me. Is
No.
anyone cannot hear Amal?
Yeah, we can't hear Amal at the moment.
Assalamu alaikum,
Yeah.
Amal. Are you there?
You're back, Amal. We can hear you now. Can you say something, Amal, just so we can test your sound again?
Yes, can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Good. Okay. Continue reciting, please.
إذ هم عليها قعود وهم على ما يفعلون بالمؤمنين شهود وما نقموا منهم إلا أن يؤمنوا بالله العزيز الحميد الذي له ملك السماوات والأرض والله على كل شيء شهيد إن الذين فتنوا المؤمنين والمؤمنات ثم لم يتوبوا فلهم عذاب جهنم ولهم عذاب الحريق إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ذلك الفوز الكبير إن بطش ربك لشديد إنه هو يبدئ ويعيد وهو الغفور الودود ذو العرش المجيد فعال لما يريد هل أتاك حديث الجنود فرعون وثمود بل الذين كفروا في تكذيب والله من ورائهم محيط بل هو قرآن مجيد في لوح محفوظ.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. That was beautiful. Amal, now tell me a bit more about where you learnt to recite. Where do you go to study?
I'm homeschooled, so my mom always taught me.
So your mum teaches you how to recite Quran as well?
Yes.
That is excellent, mashallah. I saw so much attention to the way you were pronouncing the ayat and your makhraj and the focus you had on your on your ikhfa, for example. There's a lot of attention to detail. Now, what happens with the Juz Amma surahs? Normally, people just recite them quickly because they know them by heart anyway. But mashallah, you really took your time. So, Amal, tell us about how much time you have to practice Quran a day in your schedule.
2 to 3 hours. I read with my mom in the morning and the meaning and the Arabic, and then I have a teacher. And then
yeah, okay. So you got your mum, and then you got another teacher as well.
Yes, and then I read with my mom after after I'm done with the class.
Okay, mashallah, excellent, mashallah, excellent. And what about in the weekends? Is it the same kind of schedule, 2 to 3 hours, mum and teacher?
Yeah.
Okay, so is it like 7 days a week?
6 days. 6 days.
Okay, 6 days. And what about in terms of hifz? Do you focus a lot on hifz, or have you just focused on perfecting your tajweed and your makhraj?
I haven't done hifz.
Oh, so you're not. Are you planning to do that in the future?
Yes, inshallah.
Okay. So Amal, you're in quite a unique situation that you're homeschooled as well, and we haven't had many reciters who are homeschooled. Do you find it easy balancing your kind of academic studies and your Quran studies because you're kind of learning from home, or do you think it makes it even more difficult because maybe you're not so strict with your time?
No, it's easier at home.
Oh, it's easier at home, yeah? Do you ever feel kind of stressed? I'm just laughing because is that your brother, Jibreel, with the bunny? There's someone it's just making me laugh. They've posted they're filming with a bunny. Okay, I don't think that's your brother. It's have you got a bunny?
Yes.
Oh, that is your brother. He's being a bit naughty. He's trying to distract me because he's playing.
You're easily distracted, Ustad Sahal.
I got a bit distracted by the bunny there. Okay, so you find it okay to balance your studies between your kind of academic studies and your Quran studies. Do you have an ambition to be a Hafiz of Quran in the future?
Yes.
Okay, alhamdulillah. And last question from Yamal is, what advice would you give to the children out there, especially those who maybe not homeschooled, that they're finding it really difficult to balance their different priorities and have fun and play games and be out with their friends, and at the same time to dedicate time to the Quran? What advice would you have for them? Or how would you motivate? How would you motivate?
Like even if you're at home and like there's no teachers running after you and no like homework and that to do, I mostly focus on the Quran most.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. So you see this as your priority. MashaAllah, excellent. That's very inspirational, and I think that's a very powerful message for all of us, adults and young people. Jazakallah khair. Amal, it's been great listening to you. I hope we do get a chance to listen to you in the future as well, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Shall we go to the story now? Are you ready?
We are ready. Thank you, Amal. Great to meet you. Thank you, Jazakallah khair. Yeah, and we're ready for this amazing story. And just a reminder, you can follow us on YouTube. And those of you who are on Zoom, then we'll be interacting with you, I'm sure, throughout this session, inshallah. So over to you, Ustad.
Okay. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulillah, nabiyana Muhammad, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Okay, so the story we're going to speak about is the story of the boy and the king. And the hadith can be found in Sahih Muslim. And a reference to the conclusion of the story can be found in Surah Al-Buruj. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so what does the word Buruj mean? Buruj means the constellation of the stars. I thought that was a bit of a hard word to put in there for everyone. Not everyone knows. But when you look into the sky, especially if you're not from the cities, you will recognize certain patterns in the sky of stars. And those patterns are known in English as constellations. You've got the Great Bear and you've got, different constellations. And that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about when he speaks about Al-Buruj. Sometimes it's translated as the lofty stars. Now, there is a bit of confusion that Buruj could mean the zodiac signs. So when people who are superstitious, they talk about things like, oh, I'm Sagittarius, I'm this, I'm that, That is a kind of totally different art where people who are very superstitious, they believe, depending on when you were born, the stars are controlling your fate and what happens to you. That's not what Buruj means. Buruj actually refers to the great constellation of stars in the sky. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala began the surah with an oath by the Buruj, وَالسَّمَاءِ ذَاتِ الْبُرُوجِ, by the sky full of constellations. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will now speak about some aspects of this story of Ashabul Ukhdud, the people of the ditch. But before we even start the story, can anybody see a connection between a story which actually ends with a lot of believers losing their lives and why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started the story by talking about the stars? Think about the stars being high up in the sky, and think about believers low on the earth who are losing their lives because of their faith, because of their iman. What's the connection between the two? Has anybody got any ideas? Quite a deep question to start off with. Anybody got any thoughts? You can put your hand up, or you can use the text facility. And if somebody puts their hand up, then I'm sure Ustad will give you...
Yeah, you can raise your virtual hand Do you want to repeat the question one more time, Ustad?
Yeah. So what do you think the connection is between buruj, which are stars high up in the sky in the heavens, and people on the earth who are believers losing their lives because of their faith, because of their iman? Because as the story of Ashabul Ukhdud is a story of believers who eventually lose their lives because of their iman. So what's the connection between the stars in the heavens and people who have iman losing their lives on the earth? What's the connection?
Okay, so we have a comment from Azza. Azza says, stars are the signs of Allah.
Yes, stars are signs of Allah, and whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes an oath by anything, it shows it's a sign of Allah. But that's not, Allah could have taken an oath by so many different things. He chose, this is an interesting answer. Somebody says those believers will become like stars in Jannah. But that's more to do with the English word, isn't it? When we talk about stars, we're talking about stars in the sky, but we could be also talking about celebrities. But that doesn't really work in Arabic. We don't talk about buruj being celebrities. Okay, but I like the way you're thinking, quite deep. Ah, there we go. Azza Yahya. I think they have got the right answer. Just like the stars are above the earth, looking down on everything that's happening on the earth, Allah is reminding us that He sees everything. Although the believers might be suffering in this life, He sees what's happening to them, and He will hold them to account. All those people who are responsible for this torture and this oppression, Allah reminds them, وَالْيَوْمِ الْمَوْعُودِ, and the promised day of judgment. Don't think you will get away with what you have done. And it's a reassurance to the believers that whatever you're going through in your life, Allah sees all, just like the stars above us can look down and shine upon us. Allah sees everything from above the heavens. Okay, let's get into the story. Next slide. So the people of the ditch, Ashabul Ukhdud, they were actually believers in a time when there was a very tyrannical king, an oppressive king. And this king, he insisted and forced everyone to believe that he was Lord. He was like a pharaoh. And by the end of the story, all his people accept Islam, they become believers, and he punishes them by forcing them to jump in a ditch, in a huge kind of cavern in the ground, where he has prepared the most enormous fire you can imagine. He's put fuel, he's put logs and trees, branches, and he's put all of that, and he's created and kindled a fire, which is like reaching up almost to the sky. And he forces all the people who believe to come one by one and to stand there. And unless they give up their faith, he forces them to jump into the fire. So we're gonna conclude with that story on day 3. But now we're going to start with the beginning of the story and what actually happens. Okay, let's start. Bismillah. Next slide. Yep, so next slide, please. Now, what's so amazing about this story is that it actually does not include a prophet in the story. It's a story about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. It's the story of a young boy who doesn't actually have a very good background and upbringing, but he achieves something so incredible. Now, we should realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be extraordinary in our iman. And it doesn't matter what background we're from. You might not be from a very high level family or a very high level background, but you can achieve extraordinary things through your iman, through your faith, and through your knowledge. Okay, let's move on. Okay. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He speaks about the people who lost their lives because of their faith, the Ashabul Ukhdud, the people who had to jump in the fire because of their faith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about them, and Amal recited the actual verses. Allah finishes by describing them in a very special way. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about them, He says, that they achieved the supreme success. ذلك الفوز الكبير. Yeah, that this is the supreme success. Now, how can it be that people who lose their lives for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how can that be considered as how can that be considered as success? ذلك الفوز الكبير, Allah says, that is the greatest triumph. Anybody got any thoughts? The greatest success, ذلك الفوز الكبير. If somebody just loses their life, you wouldn't say you have achieved the greatest success. You would say, I'm so sorry to hear what happened to your family member. You know, it's very sad. It's very, heartbreaking. So what do you think? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describe them as achieving the supreme success?
So Jannah has written because the greatest success is going to Jannah.
Excellent, excellent. And Hamid, yeah, Hamid says they died without giving up Islam. They became martyrs, Adam says. These are like three perfect answers. That's exactly what, if a scholar was giving an explanation of this story, what they would say. They went to Jannah. That is the supreme success. However much you suffer in this life, even if a person loses their life because of their religion, they have achieved the supreme success. Okay, they have achieved Jannah. But even more kind of deep, if we want to look at it, to this day, people talk about the Ashab al-Ukhdud, about the people who gave up their lives for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the people who, showed integrity and showed great courage for their religion. Till today, we speak about them. The people who tortured them, they're forgotten. They're looked down upon. They're seen as people who are evil. So even if a person suffers a lot, and even if a person loses their life, their memory can live forever if they have stood up for their religion, if they've shown great courage, if they've shown great integrity. So this is the supreme success. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, I chose some quite scary pictures, haven't I, Ustad Akhtar? If you're feeling a bit scared, just hold the person's hand next to you, inshallah, and hopefully that's your parent. Okay, so this young boy, he is a very ordinary boy, and he is told, or he lives in a society where they do not allow any teaching of religion. You're not allowed to openly be a Muslim. So obviously, when you take religion out of a society, the main thing that replaces it is magic and superstition. Magic and superstition, black magic. So this boy, he studies with a magician, a sorcerer, who works for the king. Now, people who engage in black magic, I'm not talking about people who do simple illusions. You know, sometimes people, they show you like a ball, or they pull out a rabbit from a hat. Maybe Jibril does that with his rabbit, just pulls it out of a hat. Now, these are illusions, okay? Everybody knows there's no magic here. This is an illusion. This is a kind of trick where somebody's so quick with their hands and somebody knows how to manipulate the audience and the camera to make you think they've appeared out of nowhere. Okay, this is an illusion. Also, there's often in card tricks, especially, there's a lot of mathematics behind it. So this is not something which we would call black magic. Black magic is something very sinister, something very evil. If a person does it, they leave the fold of Islam. Black magic involves committing acts of shirk and kufr, committing acts of blasphemy, and looking for help from the jinn. The jinn would never help a human being unless you do an act of blasphemy, some act of kufr or some act of shirk, which would lead the jinn or the evil jinn to help that person. So this sorcerer, he taught black magic, and the boy would go to the sorcerer every day and would learn more methods of black magic. But on the way to the sorcerer, the young boy would always get distracted by another personality. So who was that personality? Let's move on. Yeah, next slide. Now, this personality was a monk. He was like a religious man who used to live alone, away from society, and he used to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And he would follow the teachings of the true prophets. okay, the true prophets. So the boy would sit with this person on the way, and every day he'd become distracted by him, by his beautiful teachings, by his preaching. And then he would go to the sorcerer kind of late and kind of get in trouble with the sorcerer. So every day this would happen. But as the boy learned more about religion, the boy felt very conflicted inside himself, because on the one hand, he has the monk who is teaching him the pure teachings of the prophets, and on the other hand, he has this sorcerer who is teaching him shaitanic, satanic teachings. So he felt very conflicted in his mind. Okay, next slide. Spelling mistake there. There should have been a K. So you have the teachings of the sorcerers, which is black magic and which is shirk. When a person engages in those, they automatically leave the fold of Islam. It's not a joke, and I would really strongly advise you keeping away from things which you know are part of the darker arts, as they say. Like Ouija boards, performing certain kind of incantations. You sometimes find them on the internet or the dark net, and sometimes they're passed around by people, kind of amulets which have little formulas inside, which are known as ta'weez. Of course, if they have Quran inside them, then some scholars say it's okay. You shouldn't really do it, but it's okay. But if they have charts and symbols, then this could definitely be part of sihr or black magic, and should absolutely be avoided. It can only make your life worse. It won't make your life better. It won't protect you in any way. Okay, let's move on. And then on the other hand, you have the teachings of the monk, which are the pure teachings of religion, which the boy is also learning. So he felt very conflicted. Okay, next slide. Yep, are we frozen? Yep, next slide. So things like fairies and made up stuff, that's more like fairy tales. That's just more entertainment. Yeah, it's stuff for movies and fiction books. Nobody seriously believes that these things are real. It's more like an entertainment. That's not what I'm speaking about. Sihr is a lot more dangerous than that, and it's something that you have to go out of your way to find out about. And it's something which always involves some form of blasphemy or some form of kufr and shirk. So the boy has to make a decision. Who does he follow? And he makes dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show him the right way. Whenever you're confused in your life, you've got a big decision to make, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he makes dua to Allah to show him a sign, whether he should follow the teachings of the monk or the teachings of the sorcerer. Okay, let's move on. Now, it is very important in your life when you're facing big decisions that you make dua to Allah. One of the ways you can make dua and seek Allah's guidance is the dua of istikhara. When you pray 2 rak'ah and make a long dua and ask for Allah's guidance. But a general dua which you can make all the time, and it's one of the most popular duas of the Prophet ﷺ. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ahu wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabahu. Oh Allah, show us the truth as the truth and give us the ability to follow it. And oh Allah, show us falsehood as falsehood and give us the ability to avoid it. Because there's two things. One is recognizing something as truth or falsehood, and the other thing is being able to follow the truth and reject falsehood. So always try and remember this dua and say it a lot. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ahu wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabahu. Now there's a question about what if a person was involved in sihr and then they make tawbah. Of course, anybody who makes tawbah and asks Allah's forgiveness, Allah would forgive them. Okay, let's move on. Next slide. Now the sign from Allah which the boy asks for is that one day he is going on the road, on the way to the magician, and there is a huge beast blocking the way of people, and people are terrified of this beast. So the boy makes dua to Allah, Allah, let this be a sign. He picks up a rock and he throws the rock at the beast. and immediately the beast is struck by the rock and dies, and the people can now move freely. So the boy understood this was a sign from Allah. Allah gave him that power and ability, and he understood then that he should follow the teachings of the monk. Okay, let's move on. Next slide.
It's finished, Ustad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, the story up to here. So now, when the sorcerer realizes that the boy has given up his teachings, he becomes really angry and incensed, and he reports the boy to the king. Now, the boy, in the meanwhile, is traveling through the country. He's teaching people about Islam, what he learned from the monk. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him miracles, that he is able to cure people from their blindness, and he is able to cure people from their leprosy and their skin diseases. So eventually news of this reaches the king, and the king starts a frantic search to try and find this boy who is spreading the teachings of Islam in his kingdom. Now, at this point, the governor in his cabinet, he becomes blind, and the governor himself, he goes to this boy for treatment, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him the cure through this boy, and the governor can see again. And the governor asks, how did you manage to do that? And the boy says, my Lord cured you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured you. So the governor accepts Islam. So the king seizes the governor, tortures him, and executes him because he refuses to give up his faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So tomorrow, Ustad Abu Ma'ad will continue the story at this cliffhanger. What's going to happen to the boy? What's going to happen to the monk? What's going to happen to the sorcerers? So make sure you tune in tomorrow for the next part of this great story. So Ustad Akhtar, are you ready for the quiz that we've been waiting?
Always ready for the quiz. Always ready for the quiz. Great story. Jazakallah khair, Ustad Sahar. Really brilliant. We're looking forward to the next part, Ustad Abu Mu'ad, and then on Wednesday we had Ustad Masood joining us. We have a star-studied lineup really of guest speakers. So please do make sure you share the link with your friends and family. We have around 25 people joined here and 25 or so joined on YouTube. Those on YouTube, it's great to have you there, and it's probably a bit more interactive if you can join the Zoom link. So try and join the Zoom link. And tomorrow's session is the same time for those asking, so 6 p.m. tomorrow, inshallah. But let's get over to the quiz now, inshallah. Let's have a look at launching the quiz and sharing with you what the first question is. And let's have a look. I think, has that come up for you, Ustad? Can you see that?
Yeah, it has.
Okay, so perfect. So first question is, what is the name of the surah where Allah mentions the story of the people of the ditch? Was it Surah Al-Buruj, A, B, Surah Al-Baqarah, C, Surah Al-Tariq, or D, Surah Al-Duha? I'm not sure this is working for everybody because it says that no one's filled in an answer. So let's see. Is it working?
Are you children seeing the quiz or you're not?
Oh, now they're starting to, somebody's typed in an answer. That probably was you, Ustad.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, cool. As long as it wasn't you, because you'll get the right answer.
So please do say if you can't see the quiz.
Okay, they're saying you can't see it. Hold on. Let me just restart this again. Sorry. Let's close this and see if we can start it over again. Bear with me. Relaunch. Yes, we do want to relaunch. Hold on. Still not working for everyone. Let's quit this. Oh, all the questions came up at the same time. This is a new thing for me. I've never seen Zoom do this before. And okay, I see what's happened. But anyway, it is what it is. So let's relaunch it and see what comes up for everybody. Okay, so let's have a look at first question then. Everybody, have a look at first question there. What is the name of the surah where Allah mentions the story of the people of the ditch? Is it Surah Al-Buruj, Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Al-Tariq, or Surah Al-A'la? put your answers through. And we are receiving answers, so that's great to see.
Yeah.
So, and it's what's happening, Ustad, is that all 5 questions have come up at the same time. So people are answering all of them, which is cool. So we'll go through the answers at the end, inshallah. So that's question number 1. And if you've answered that, then you can go into question number 2. For those on YouTube, you can just put 1 and then the answer, which is A for Surah Al-Buruj, B for Surah Al-Baqarah, C for Surah Al-Tariq, and D for Surah Al-A'la. Now, the second question is, what does the word Buruj mean? What does the word Buruj mean? Does it mean skyscraper in Dubai? Doesn't mean that. Stars, zodiac signs, or moon? So which one, what does it mean? A is skyscraper in Dubai, B, stars, C, zodiac, or D, the moon? And then the third question is, what does Allah promise the people of the ditch when they are tortured with the fire? Is it that they will escape from the fire, or B, protection from the fire of their lives, C, justice in this world, or D, Jannah? What does Allah promise? A, B, C, or D? Let's have a look at what you're saying. Let's have a look at all of this chat that I'm missing. Some people are saying they can't see, and some people are saying they can see. So who knows where everybody is with this? One of those days will start.
Yeah.
Let's move swiftly on to question number 4. Question number 4, who were the 2 masters who the boy studied under? Were they the monk and the magician, the fisherman, the governor and the judge, or D, a footballer and a cricketer? Yeah, I see what happened. So once you submit one answer, you can't answer the others. So you should choose the answer that you want to give first. And then you will see what comes up. And then the final question is, how did the boy realize the monk was following the truth? Was it A, the monk was eloquent, the magician was very bad-mannered, C, showed the boy in a dream, or D, Allah caused the beast that was blocking their road? So Ustad, maybe what we should do here is go through each question and just let people to type their answer in the chat box. And then we can answer it at the end. That might be a better way of doing it because the Zoom poll hasn't worked for today. Is that okay with you, Ustad?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so the first question, what is the name of the surah that was mentioned in the people of the book? You can type A for Surah Al-Buruj, B for Surah Al-Baqarah, C for Surah Al-Tariq, and D for Surah A'la. A, B, C, or D? Let's have a look at what people put on YouTube. Most people have written A here, Ustad. So
that is correct. That is correct. So the answer is A, Surah Al-Buruj. That is the surah which was recited at the beginning by Amal, and that is the surah which references this story. Okay, well done, alhamdulillah.
Very good. So what does Buruj mean? Does it mean a skyscraper in Dubai? Does it mean B, stars, C, zodiac signs, or D, the moon? Does it A, skyscraper, B, stars, C, zodiac, or D, the moon?
Correct answer.
Most people are saying the star or stars. Is that correct?
That is correct. There is a skyscraper, which is the tallest skyscraper in the world in Dubai. It's called Burj Khalifa, and they got that name from the same kind of root, which is to do with stars, because the skyscraper reaches up so high. But the correct answer is stars, B, correct. Well done.
Cool. All right, perfect. Well done, everyone. Let's have a look at question 3. What does Allah promise the people of the ditch when they were tortured in the fire? Was it escape from the fire, A, B, protection of their lives, C, justice in the world, which is C, or D, Jannah, paradise? Is it A, escape from fire, B, protection of their lives, C, justice in this world, or D, Jannah? Let's have a look at what people have written on YouTube in the chat. And most people have written D, Ustad. Is that the correct answer?
That's correct. Allah only ever promised them Jannah. And this is exactly what the Prophet ﷺ used to do for tribes when he used to offer them Islam. There's not much else you can promise. You know, you can't promise that they won't be harmed. that they won't face difficulties in this life. Life is full of difficulties, but Allah promised them Jannah.
Yeah, brilliant. Excellent. Well done to all of you for getting the right answer. Let's have a look at the fourth one. Who were the two masters who the boy had to study under? Was it the monk and the magician? Or B, the fisherman and the farmer? D, C, the governor and the judge? Or D, the footballer and the cricketer? So was it A, the monk and the magician? B, the fisherman and the farmer? C, the governor and the judge? Or D, the footballer and the cricketer? And everybody seems to be saying A, Ustad. Is that correct? The monk and the magician.
Yeah, that was an easy one. The monk and the magician. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, very good. Well done. Well done, everyone, for getting that right. Now, the final question for today. How did the boy realize the monk was following the truth? Was it the monk was more eloquent? Was it B, the magician was very bad-mannered? C, Allah showed him in a dream? Or D, Allah caused the beast that was blocking the road to die? Was it A, Allah showed him through the monk's eloquence? B, through the magician? C, Allah showed it in a dream? Or D, caused by the beast that was blocking the road? So Ustad, we have a bit of a mixture here. We have some people saying C, Allah showed the boy in a dream, and D, Allah caused the beast that was blocking the road to die. We've got kind of like a 40-60 split on this. What would you say?
Interesting. There's no mention of a dream. There's no mention of a dream. What happened is that the boy picked up the rock and he asked Allah to show him the truth. Meaning that if he throws the rock and he threw the rock in the name of Allah, Bismillah, he threw the rock and the beast was killed straight away. So this was a sign from Allah that the monk was following the truth and the boy should follow the monk. So it's actually D.
Yeah, D. D is the correct answer, everybody. So well done for all of you getting that correct answer. And that was the conclusion. A little bit of a different way we did the quiz today, not our standard way. We'll see what happened there, and we'll fix that for tomorrow, inshallah. So yeah, some of you claim that you got 5 out of 5. I'm not really sure, but let's see. We'll see tomorrow, inshallah, with the quiz. So just before you go, please do remember to invite your friends and family for tomorrow's session, inshallah, starting at 6 o'clock. And do not forget to take up the offer. You'll see that chat in the screen right now to have your free ticket for the fun day. Go to that link, type in the promotional code, which I'll share my screen with you so I can show you how to do this. You'll get to the page. This is the page. And then you'll press QST 2023. You'll type that in the promo code. As you can see, currently the tickets are £3. And if I press apply, it goes down to 0. And you can get your free ticket into the festival, which is this weekend, inshallah, this Saturday and Sunday, inshallah. Okay, Ustad, Jazakallah khair. Thank you for joining. Really great to have you. Thank you all for joining, who joined us on Zoom, and many people on YouTube as well. We're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, all, inshallah, for a fantastic session with the very talented Ustad Abu Muad, inshallah. So everybody, it's your opportunity to come off mute now and shout out and give us salams and say your salams before we see you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam, Maryam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu
Alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Take care, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, everyone.
Inshallah.
Assalamu
Muhammad
alaikum.
Ayub, good to see you, Muhammad Ayub. Well done. Faris and Ustad Faris and his kids. Put some clothes on, boys. MashaAllah. Good to see you. Well done. Jibril and his bunny, thank you for coming. Well done. Wa alaikum salam. Maryam, take care. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Ibrahim.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Okay, let's got a few people.